Howdy again, everybody. This is Dr. Brian Langlois. I'm the medical director of the Pet Pantry of Lancaster County, as well as the current president of the Pennsylvania Veterinary Medical Association. And I'm wearing red right now, and that can only mean two real things. One, I'm just about out of clean laundry. And two, we are coming up on that most wonderful holiday where everybody gets smoochy and lovey. That's right, Valentine's Day. And, you know, obviously it's the time when everybody shows their love for one another and their significant others, as well as their pets, and we as veterinarians want to make sure you follow a couple of simple tips to make sure that you keep your pets safe, happy, and oh so loved on this Valentine's Day. So let's jump right in. First thing, obviously, what is one thing that everybody loves to give and get on Valentine's Day, and that is flowers. And of course, the flower of love that everybody likes to give is the rose. And the one thing we do caution people a little about with roses is not the rose itself, it's more the thorns that are on the stems, because pets may try to eat the flowers, eat the stems, and then those thorns can get lodged in certain places. They can actually also, if they're trying to bat at them, get the thorns stuck in their paws. Just kind of a nasty situation. And then instead of spending a romantic evening at home, you are spending a romantic evening at the emergency clinic as your pet gets treated. So just be aware of that. The second thing that we are going to talk about is something that we talk about at Easter time as well, and it is a lot of times people do multiple different types of flowers in the bouquets and stuff like that, and one of those flowers that they like to throw in there are lilies. And I can't say it any clearer than this: lilies kill cats. I'm going to say it again. Lilies kill cats. It is just that simple. Any part of the lily plant, any species of lily is very toxic to cats. It causes a very acute kidney failure on their part, and it is very sad to see, and is 100% preventable. So if you happen to be giving your significant other a wonderful bouquet of flowers this year, just make sure there's no lilies in it. No problems. Moving on to something else that everybody loves to give and get on Valentine's Day, and that is, of course, the candy. And we're talking mostly about the chocolate candies, of course, in those wonderful heart-shaped boxes. We've gone over it multiple times. Chocolate is toxic to your pets, especially more in the dark chocolate realm, and then it gets a little bit less as you go through, because it does have an ingredient in it that is similar to caffeine, and actually, if ingested in a high enough amount, can not only lead to a lot of GI upset, so some vomiting and diarrhea, but potentially some heart rhythm disturbances and arrhythmia. So you obviously just want to avoid your dogs potentially getting into that chocolate in any way, shape, or form. Also, what we worry about with that is the fact that it's not so much sometimes the chocolate itself, but what's mixed in with the chocolate, the different ingredients, the nuts, berries, things of that nature, fillings. We need to know all of that stuff, and we even worry sometimes about the wrappers that they're in, because the dog may just gobble the whole thing down in a fit of chocolate-fueled lust and love for that chocolate, and they may swallow everything, and then that can lead to some intestinal obstructions that unfortunately usually do require surgery. So remember that. When we're talking about some of the other things out there, some of those wonderful treats and the pastries and the different concoctions that you can get, and especially nowadays, those little sugar hearts that sometimes come in sugar-free or low-sugar varieties, those sometimes can be sweetened instead of with sugar with a compound called xylitol. And we have talked about xylitol a lot before. It is an artificial sweetener that is used a lot on the human side of things, but it can cause a life-threatening drop of blood sugar in your pet. So you want to make sure you check the ingredients of everything sweet-wise that you may be looking to give or bake with this Valentine's Day to make sure there's no xylitol in it, and you won't have any problems as far as that goes. Now we're going to move on a little bit more to the romantic dinner, candlelight, firelight, and all those wonderful things that go along with it. And as we talked about, anything that you might be preparing from a meat side of things that might have a higher fat content meat, you may be inclined to give your pet a little bit. Just be careful with that, especially with ribs or any of the higher fat content meats can cause some pancreatitis issues in your pets, which again can be potentially a life-threatening condition, if not lead to just a lot of vomiting and diarrhea in your pet as well, because their GI systems are not used to it. A little bit of meat here and there, just as a treat, that should be perfectly okay. But if you do have any questions, especially also if your pet has any kind of food allergies or insensitivities, you definitely want to check with your vet before you consider doing any of that stuff. What goes along with the Valentine's dinner, of course, as well, and that is the wine or the alcohol or wonderful mixed drinks. And a lot of people don't realize this, but Pets don't do well with alcohol. They can't hold their liquor very good, and it's partly because of their size, but also because small amounts of alcohol, they just can't process it the same, and it actually can lead to some very, very severe intoxication issues. So you definitely want to make sure that you watch that, and if you have any spills of wine or alcohol or anything, clean them up. Don't let your cat or dog lick them up, because they can get more than drunk, they can potentially get dead. So you don't want that happening as a Valentine's Day memory. Finally, with the dinner, the thing that you also may see is that we love to use lovely candle lights and, maybe in front of the fireplace, things like that. But specifically with the candles, just be careful once you're done, extinguish them. Cats love to kind of play with candles. They can't quite figure it out. It's a neat little flickery thing, and we all know how cats love little flickery things. So they may paw at it. They could potentially burn themselves. They could potentially knock it down, set the whole place on fire, and again, that's not the kind of Valentine memory that you hopefully want this Valentine's Day. So be careful with the candles as well. Cats also have been known, if they're walking by, to accidentally set their tails on fire with it. So you just don't want any of that. That's not a good Valentine's Day memory. So keep all of that stuff in mind. Final thing I'm going to talk about on Valentine's Day is, of course, some people like to get into a little bit of a hanky-panky, and for some reason, and I'm pretty sure I don't even want to know the reason, dogs tend to like that lacy underwear, not so much to oogle at, but to ingest. And again, I don't know why they like this, and I'm pretty sure I don't want to know why they like this, but we do have those cases all the time of dogs that will ingest that lacy underwear, and it actually does cause a very bad intestinal obstruction. So you want to be careful that if you are getting into a little bit of the hanky-panky and the fun-loving during the evening, that you want to make sure that any of that lacy underwear that you may want to be showing off does not find its way into your dog's mouth, or you may have, well, again, an evening that you were not expecting at the emergency clinic. So hope everybody does enjoy this wonderful Valentine's Day. Keep your pets safe. Hope everybody has a loved one to cuddle up with, be it human or furry, and just enjoy the day all around. This is Dr. Brian Langlois of the Pet Pantry of Lancaster County and the Pennsylvania Veterinary Medical Association, and we will see you next time with another fun-filled tip.